And welcome to the Postmodern Art Podcast, the podcast dedicated to giving artists who are wowing the world over the platform they deserve. I am your host, Aiden Ragland, and for today's episode, be prepared for a fantastic feline that comes with a conversation that I think is piles of fun. Today's guest is Sadie Sellars, better known as Piles of Peaches, an animator, storyboard, and comic artist whose art, no matter how serious or how silly, is always some of the most relatable media out there. I have been a huge fan of Peaches stuff for a while, and to finally get a chance to sit down and talk to them was already insane on its own. But sincerely, the conversation that you guys are going to absolutely listen to, you guys are going to love. It was sincerely a fantastic conversation. Sincerely, one that I know you guys are going to just love, just based off of Sadie's enthusiasm alone. If you enjoy our guests, please make sure you support them with the links down in the description below. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. Leave 5 stars wherever you can. You know I see that stuff. You know it genuinely warms my heart. If you want to go a little further with that support, may I recommend you check out the merch shop on fourthwall.com. Link to that in the description below. We have some outstanding streetwear as done by some amazing artists, including the stunning logo that you saw at the beginning of this podcast as done by the fantastic Roshan Galaxy. And I think you would look sensational in that streetwear today. And also, I did want to bring this up again. While one Kickstarter has ended, there is one more Kickstarter for our guests we previously had on the podcast. So you guys need to go out and support right now. So if you can, check in the link in the description below and go support the Zipped Up Kickstarter. Last time I checked, they're close to 60% of their goal, and their Kickstarter ends at the end of May. So please go give that Kickstarter a lot of love and a lot of support today. But now, without further ado, please enjoy the Postmodern Art Podcast. Hello.
Hello! Oh my goodness!
We're finally making this happen!
I know, finally. Oh my goodness, that took forever. I'm so sorry.
Look, again, I do not blame you in the least bit, all right? It's not like you had anticipated getting injured and then your city getting on fire, like, and all that.
Oh my God.
It's not like you were planning any of that, okay?
Every single crazy possible thing that could have happened in the span of, like, I don't know, 4 months?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months or something like that.
Yeah, that's insanity. But we are past it now. We are thriving. Life moves on, and we just keep on kicking. So
you see, life finds a way.
As they say.
As they say.
I'm so glad we can finally make this happen, though. I've been like anticipating this forever. I really appreciate you reaching out and everything. Like I'm excited. Oh my goodness.
I am thankful that you even accepted the email or whatever I sent in the first. I'm glad you responded more than anything else. It really means a lot because like I've been a huge fan of your comics. I've been a huge fan of your stuff for a while or whatnot. So finally the chance to sit down and chat with you, like this is legitimately exciting as well. So I can't wait.
Thank you so much. And you know, I was looking through all your episodes and everything. You got to talk to some super cool people. So I was kind of like scrolling through the discography and everything, just kind of being like, oh my God, I feel a little nervous. I feel a little out of my league here, but I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm now curious because like, what were some of the ones that you were just like, wow, you got such and such on? Like, how the hell did you get that person on or this person on?
Okay, first of all, I didn't expect this in the slightest, but I saw you had Raw XD at one point.
Yes,
Oh my God, that was amazing. That was amazing to see.
Rax D Flipnote was a really cool person. Like I just simply casually reached out to them on I think it was Blue Sky or whatnot, and they were just so cool and just like answered me back or whatnot.
God. Yeah, awesome. You got them. You had Brewski at one point. Yep. You had I have to go back and look, but I was scrolling through. I was just super excited. Oh, Tunerific Tariq. That was another one. I was like, oh my God. Oh man.
What helped with that one is I actually got a chance to see him in person before we set up the podcast because I went.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, because I went to a convention last year, MomoCon, because I'm around Georgia. And that's like the convention that we host. One of the like 2 major conventions that is hosted in Georgia or whatnot. And he was there for that, so I got a chance to introduce myself to him first beforehand, and then we were able to link up and actually get that episode going or whatnot.
Sweet.
So, yeah.
Great cast of people. Like, and I, I discovered a lot of artists through you as well. So
Okay.
I'm glad you're doing this. Like, this is a great, like, this is a really great thing you're doing. I love
Oh.
that.
Well, look, you don't have to butter me up. You're already on the podcast. We're gonna be recording the episode. No, in all seriousness, thank you for the genuine words. It literally does mean a lot. And what you said right there, that's honestly what I always hope for whenever I try to, like, either bring a new audience to the podcast or just bringing on some of the guests, just like having them both like realize, hey, I recognize such and such, but also like, wow, there's this cool artist that does this cool thing. Like, okay, this is interesting.
Oh yeah.
That's cool. Awesome. All right. So
Yeah, super cool stuff.
I'm glad I'm doing something positive with this thing.
Absolutely.
Man, I cannot tell you how excited I have been for this. Just planning, thinking about all the stuff, thinking about what exactly there is to talk about, because there is a lot to talk about with you. Let's be honest with ourselves here.
Oh, oh my goodness. The worms, the can of worms. They're waiting to open.
Let me get a quick sip of water before we really get this show on the road.
All right, I'm gonna take one with you in solidarity.
There you go.
Mm.
What kind of water do you have? What kind of water do you have? I have sparkling ice plus caffeine.
I get my triple filtered cold water from work every day.
Oh, fancy,
Wow.
huh?
Oh, whatever I can get out of them.
Hey, no, trust me, same thing. It's one of those at my work, because I work in a warehouse. We'll sometimes get just like a pallet of just like bottles of water or whatnot. So I usually take like one or two bottles home with me or whatnot. So I mean, like, oh, big whoop-de-doo, you're missing 2 bottles. I see people carrying like whole entire cases of water out of work or whatnot, and I'm thinking to myself, like, if they catch you doing that, they're gonna stop doing that, because they're willing to give it away for free, but not that much for free, you know?
So brave. And
So
we have people at my work like stealing the what do you call it? Like we have like wipes, like wet wipes. They steal like packets of the wet wipes. I'm like, of all the things that I don't know.
you know what?
I guess if you want to keep clean.
I mean, look, I'll put it like this. The best way that I could word it, I have a soundboard for this exact thought more than anything else. Where is it? There it is.
Down with big government!
There you go.
There it is.
Eat the rich. Eat the rich, or I guess wipe with the rich. I don't know. Anyways,
Yeah, wipe the rich.
wipe the rich. All right, Sadie. Before we really do get going, I must ask the icebreaker question of the podcast, if I may.
Oh my god, of course.
Let's say you get to go to a deserted island on your own accord. It's just you alone with your thoughts. You get to kick back, relax, breathe, get to really enjoy yourself for a little bit. With accommodations, it's not like a stranded deserted island. You have the amenities. It's like a personal B&B.
Oh, thank God.
It's a personal B&B paradise away from society for a little bit. To make sure you don't go completely insane on this island, you could bring one piece of media or one piece of art with you to help whatever kind of headspace you want on this island. If given this opportunity, what would that one piece be?
I would have to go with a playlist consisting of every Modest Mouse and every Pine Grove song, because I feel like I can accomplish anything while I'm listening to and there's so many of them. There's so many, and they're all different vibes, and you can't get bored with it. I've been listening to Modest Mouse and Pine Grove like since I discovered them, like just daily. I hardly listen to anything else, but I'm obsessed with those two in particular. So
Like, I completely understand that mood. I am the same way with Tyler the Creator and Kendrick Lamar. All right, like those.
Oh my God, yes.
Those two are good. But I mean, to be fair, Modest Mouse, like Modest Mouse alone, like, you cannot deny how good Modest Mouse is. Those guys
They're
are
so
killing
good.
it.
They're so good. Like they're not underrated by any means, but like I feel like there's so much like just creativity that like just oozes out of that band, and like I don't know, they're just incredible to me. Like every single song is a story. Like the composition is insane. I'm obsessed with them.
I mean, to be fair, I would call them underrated because, at least for the general public or whatnot, the only one that everyone knows from Modest Mouse is Float On. I mean, more than anything else.
Sure.
But, like, if you take a chance to actually, like, dive into their discography or whatnot, like, it's just banger after banger after banger with them.
Absolutely. No misses on any of their songs. I've tried listening and trying to find like, oh, what's my least favorite Modest Mouse song? And it doesn't exist. It's not there.
I mean, hey, if there's ever a mentality, that is a good one. Now, what was the other band that you mentioned? Because I don't think I've heard of them.
Pine Grove, and this is probably for the TikTok kiddos, but
Okay.
because that Need to Pine Grove shuffle, I don't know if you've seen that. That popped off at some point, but Pine Grove is like just this beautiful like it's a similar thing of like every single song is like a different story and like a beautiful composition. It's all very like calming and like I don't know, just very like I like it soothes my heart listening to Pine Grove. It's kind of sad at the same
Right.
time that it's like hopeful and everything. They just I don't know. Like Pine Grove is it keeps a space in my brain. It occupies a large portion of my body half the time.
I made sure to write down Pine Grove because after this episode, after we did get done recording or whatnot, and maybe it like worked throughout the week or whatnot, I want to listen to their stuff. I want to get into that shit. All right.
Highly recommend.
I
Highly recommend. It's like kind of like I think it's like country
Okay. Interesting.
ish, but with a kind of like emo vibe to it or like
Ooh.
yeah. Ooh.
Interessante.
They
uh,
just like they have a way of making me feel things.
hey, that's all we can ask for when it comes to artists at the end of the day. Am I right?
Oh my God, absolutely. What else are they for?
There you go. Well, I mean, there's a lot of things that you could probably dive deep psychologically into what exactly they're for. But
Too many answers.
too many answers, not enough time. But regardless, that playlist of Modest Mouse and Pine Grove, that is your answer. You're locking that in.
Oh yeah.
Then, if that's the case, I cannot think of a better way to start the Postmodern Art Podcast. Welcome, everyone. I am your host, Nathan Ragland. Please feel free to like, share, subscribe, or follow whatever audio streaming platform you prefer. You will look fantastic in the merch that we have at the merch shop, fourthwall.com. Link to that is in the description below. And follow us on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok at PostmodArtPod for future updates and guest announcements, including today's guest. They are an animator, storyboard, and comic artist whose art, no matter how serious or how silly, is always some of the most relatable media out there. Welcome to the podcast, Sadie Sellars, aka Piles of Peaches!
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
It is an honor and a pleasure to have you. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm so good. I'm so excited. I've been anticipating this for a while. I know we kind of talked about it earlier. And when I say a while, I mean the span of like several months.
Yes.
But I am so happy to finally be here. This is really like just such a cool opportunity. Thank you.
I really do appreciate that enthusiasm more than anything else. Like, genuinely, it makes me so happy to hear that you were as excited for this as I am. I mean, obviously, we were planning for this for months because, you're living out in California and there was a couple things you didn't plan for. Like I said, there was an injury that you may have happened. You had to move at some point. There's this giant traumatic event called a forest fire or, wildfires that may or may not have ravaged some of the area or whatnot. Just a few bumps in the road before we can get
Just a little bit of chaos.
just a little bit of chaos, but I'm so glad that, one, you're safe and you're healthy and you're good more than anything else, because that was the biggest concern more than anything else.
Thank you.
But secondly, like, I'm so glad we're finally getting the chance to actually sit down and do this. Like I said in the intro, if I do leave it in, which I'm pretty sure I am, but like I said in the intro, like, I have been a huge fan of your stuff for a while, and so to finally get a chance to sit down and chat with you is exciting, and I cannot wait to really go into all the details and stuff like that. But before we talk about the stuff you are producing these days, I just want to go back just a little bit. I want to learn more or less the origin story of Sadie. What got you interested in art and animation and such in the first place?
Oh my goodness. I would say like the very first memory I have with art is like, as obviously, I feel like every artist has this moment where it's like you're a toddler and like your like parents or grandparents or somebody gifts you like, just kind of passively a sketchbook and some stupid pens that don't work.
Right.
And you go to use it and you're like, oh my God, like, what is this? Like, what is this magic? And you start making things like either that you're seeing in your head or ideas that you have or stuff you're looking at. And like, I remember like sitting in front of the TV watching like different Cartoon Network shows, and like suddenly I was like, wait a second. And I like would start, doodling on these sketchbooks. I actually would collect like stacks of printer paper from my parents' office and like just hide them in my room and just start like drawing all the time.
Aw.
And
The
like
cutest thief possible.
it's like I don't know if I should be using these, but like I need this right now. It was like this like physical urge to like make something and like
Okay.
see ideas like depicted in front of me and like just kind of exploring ideas and stuff. And I feel like as I was growing up too, like with ADHD, probably undiagnosed autism. I haven't figured that one out yet. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure though. I mean, the signs are there, but like I had a bit of trouble like connecting with people, relating to people, understanding like situations and emotions and that kind of stuff. And it wasn't until I started like actually showing people my drawings and doing stuff like I can draw you as a wolf, you know, and
Okay.
like starting to like draw people in situations that I knew. That's when they really responded to it, and it made me feel good because it was like, oh, I'm making something and it like, you know, people are reacting to it positively. And so I just kept going. And then I mean, like I just never stopped. Like I like there was no point in time other than like art block or something, but like
Right.
that, you know, happens to anybody, where I was like not drawing. I had an iPad in high school. My art teacher was like a big inspiration for me. And at some point though, she's like, you gotta stop drawing cats. And I'm like, whatever, screw you. And then I'd like stop drawing cats just to be like, yeah, see, I did. But then I would still show her like the cats I was drawing. Because like other big inspirations for me were like any early YouTube like Warrior Cats
There
videos I
you
was
go.
watching. Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
That's right.
this is a judgment-free zone first and foremost, but also this is not the first time Warrior Cats has been brought up on this podcast. In fact, I've legitimately brought on a team that is working on making a Warrior Cats animated project. All right.
Oh my god, I'm obsessed with those guys.
Right?
I'm actually obsessed with those guys. I love their work. I grew up watching them, like Papa Julia,
Mhm.
Paula V, Hulu Richie, Nifty Senpai, Allspark. I don't know how many I could name off the top of my head, but like I was obsessed with the Warrior Cats videos growing up. I couldn't stop watching that. And I was always trying to like show people like, look at this like movement, this like
Yeah.
art movement on the internet. Like these people are just like reading. First of all, what a ridiculous thing. Like cats in like war scenarios, like
Yes.
like in these like insane situations, like murdering the shit out of each other. But then like there's such like drama and emotion and like creativity just like oozing from these people that are like, I don't know, I want to draw cats. Like it was amazing to me because it's like, you know, YouTube, like anything can be uploaded there, anyone
Oh
can do
yeah.
anything, they can make whatever they want. It was just like this creative, like, you know, oasis on the internet, that like that and My Little Pony. Don't
There
even
you
get me
go.
started on My Little Pony. That fandom was insane.
Oh
But
my
yeah.
goodness. No, again, trust me. Once again, not a judgment-free zone. Not the first time My Little Pony's been brought up on this podcast. It is a
Oh
staple
yeah.
around here. All right.
It I mean, it's just like one of those like phenomena that's like, I don't know,
I mean,
leaves an impact.
uh, trust me, we still see the impact of that to this day with some of the people that are still obsessed with that kind of stuff. But also, like how some people took the inspiration from that and have gone on to have their own like incredible art careers in one form or fashion. I mean,
Oh my god, yeah.
it's insane to think of like that kind of stuff and like the obsessions and like the way that you were more or less able to finally express yourself through art when it was very hard for you to do otherwise in any other form or fashion or whatnot. That's always great to hear. That's always wonderful to hear. I do have to ask, I feel like Warrior Cats once again is a major inspiration for this, but what is it about cats that you were just so obsessed about?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know why it was cats in particular. Like I think the thing that's interesting to me about cats, at least something that I think of nowadays, is like people usually talk about like, oh, cats are such assholes, it's so much easier to keep a dog, blah 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 blah. I feel like dogs are more obvious about how they're feeling and
Yes.
thinking and, you know, that kind of thing, and cats are very like um uh it's like they feel and think and like operate in the same ways, but the way that they express themselves is so much more like understated, I want to say. And like you really have to like give them space to like, understand them and like, see where they're coming from and like know how to like, I don't know, interact with them. And so I feel like there's a complexity to cats that's really interesting, maybe an underappreciation because like dogs, make it easy to like read their personalities or whatever. But if you know what you're looking for with cats, then like, I love cats. I don't know if you know this. They come in so many shapes and sizes.
You liking cats, seeing your icon being an anthropomorphic cat? What? No.
No. Who would say that? What is the slander?
That is absurd. I you know what? I can't do this. I can't do this.
We're ending the podcast here. That's what did it.
That's what did it.
Oh my god.
No, to be fair, I also enjoy cats. I currently have a cat that we've had outside for years before my stepmom slowly sneaked her inside or whatnot. And now that cat, like I was always feeding it for years. But now that cat like spends a lot of the time either like I currently have her litter box like right here, right, like right over there in the corner or whatnot. It's like one of those like
part of the family.
Yeah, so she absolutely is part of the family, which is gonna be so funny because again we've had her for years. My stepmom let my little brother name her, and this is a time where he had just named every single animal the same name. So her name is Jeffrey. Although I like to affectionately call her Zaza because it's just cute to say, "Come here, Zaza. Come here, Zaza."
Aww, little Zaza.
Little Zaza. She's in the room right now. I had to make sure that she was out because like I love her to death. She's very affectionate as well sometimes. Like, I could be sitting on the bed and, like, she'll get, like, right underneath my arm when I'm trying to, like, edit stuff or whatnot. Like, right there. If I'm, like, just laying back or whatnot, she'll crawl up on my chest and just, like, stay there and I'll pet her, hear her purr. So, like, she is a wonderful little cat. I enjoy her. So, I'm like, again, I completely understand what you're talking about when it comes to cats. I feel like, this is I'm not the first person to say this, but in a way, cats are like introverts and dogs are extrovert or whatnot. Like cats, it's not like cats don't want anything or they're just assholes for a reason. They just have a hard way of expressing themselves, and there's obviously different levels of being introverted with some cats. Meanwhile, with dogs, they're gonna let you know out loud and proud more than anything else, just exactly how they feel in one form or fashion. All right.
Absolutely. And like I feel like cats, like, I know that people talk about like, oh yeah, they're more independent, like, they can like hang out by themselves and whatever. You can like leave them alone, they clean themselves, they can, take care of themselves. They still have that like, want for like connection and stuff, and like they might be a little bit introverted like you said, but like they have thoughts and feelings, and they want to be included.
There's still a little bit of like a want of some form of dependency in a way, like like you said, like an affection or like connection in one form or fashion.
Yeah. They just like you can't like necessarily like squeeze it out of them or whatever. Like you can let them come to you. They still want to spend time with you. Just like don't overwhelm them.
Yeah, you try to squeeze it out of them, you're either gonna get a really like loud meow, or you're gonna get them to start scratching on you to stop hugging them so tightly.
My God. I actually, and this might be funny to mention at this point now that we've talked about how much I love cats. I like even while I was drawing cats at the beginning, I kind of was scared of them.
Oh really? Okay.
Yeah, because I knew that they could scratch and stuff. And so, like, people would bring me over and they have their cats in the house. And I'm like, does it have its claws? Which obviously, yes, they do. And they're like, oh, yeah, but they don't scratch. They're really friendly. And I'm like, I'm not going near that thing. I would be, like, so terrified of them. But then, like, I don't know, somewhere along the way, like, I think I had a couple positive interactions with them, and I was like, wait, cats are kind of based.
Right?
Like, what am I so scared of?
For I'll tell you what it is for me. For me, like, for the longest time, cats did not like me. Probably because I was more of the extroverted, like, excited type. And you know how it is when an introvert tries to interact with an extrovert that's a little bit too hyper in the moment, more than anything else. So it's one of those, like, I would be the one that's, like, super duper excited to see the cat, and the cat's like, no, I can't deal with this right now. We're just gonna go to the other room or whatnot. And so as I got older, I calmed down a little bit, and so cats became more comfortable around me and such. So
nice. Yeah. Bless.
But I love how we went on this little tangent. I love it so much because obviously it's a major part of how you are and how you represent yourself more than anything else.
Sure.
But it does lead me to wonder, when did for you go from this like general love and appreciation for the arts and such, and like really absorbing yourself in it and finding a way to express yourself through it, to a passion and wanting to make it your career? When did you realize that you wanted art, you wanted to be a part of art in one form or fashion?
Honestly, for like the longest time, at least growing up in like high school and whatever,
Mm-hmm.
like up until then, I was just like, art is such a fun hobby.
Yep.
Like I went to like I had the art classes and like you could pick your extracurriculars and whatever.
Right.
I had art for like 4 years in a row, and I was like, I don't know, this is just so cool. Like you get to like make stuff and whatever, but I didn't see it as a career opportunity or consider it in that way until I think I was like maybe like 15, 16. My high school art teacher brought in an animator
Ooh.
who I think at the time he had worked on like a couple of Disney projects, and I think he was moving to Sony Animation.
Okay.
And she brought him in to do like a presentation and whatever, and then afterwards she's like, I think you should shadow him, like we can hook you up with a day at Sony Animation, go meet the
Ooh.
other storyboard artists and you know, see what they do, blah 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 blah, up close and personal.
Oh, that's
And I
a
was like,
dream.
I okay. I was like, oh, that's really nice, thank you. But I didn't really understand or comprehend what was happening because
Right.
I hadn't heard of like storyboarding at that point. I didn't understand the animation pipeline at all. I just thought like these like art pieces are so magical, they move, and
Mm-hmm.
I had no comprehension of what I was getting into. And this guy, bless him, he brought me in for the day. I met all these cool artists. They were so nice to me. They were so lovely. I still have a couple of their business cards.
Okay.
I don't know where. I have to go find them, but I know that they're there. But I still like carry a lot of that information with me today, obviously. But
Okay.
like they introduced me to the pipeline. I think they were working on Mitchell's versus the Machines at the time, and
Oh.
yeah, and they were showing me like the very first passes of like introductions to the characters. It was like we were meeting the pug character, like he was like digging through some trash or something, and I was
Mm-hmm.
like watching the guy like doing the pitch, and he was like doing the voices and like clicking through the pages, and I was like, this is so like I was laughing, I was enjoying myself. And then just thinking to myself, this is awesome. Like I didn't realize that this was a thing. And then at the end of it, like you know, we went through the whole building for the day. I saw some people doing uh, like color scripts.
Okay.
They had like Pinterest boards. They were showing me all the different steps that they were doing to make this movie. And then at the end of the day, the artist I was shadowing, he's like, oh, do you have any questions for me? Like, do you have any follow-up questions? Anything you want clarified? And I was like, no. I, I was like, I don't know. I think you answered all my questions. Like, I
Yeah.
don't really, I didn't know what to ask because I was like so new to this like art form. And I think like in that moment, I saw the gears in his head kind of turn, and he's like, yeah, this person doesn't know what they're doing. And I like, I don't know. I think I screwed it up because I didn't
Oh.
like express how excited I was about it, or like I didn't know what to ask at the time. And also I was like 15, 16. It's not like
Right.
I was going to get a job or anything, but it did open my eyes up. I definitely went home, kept looking into storyboards. I found artists on YouTube who make like animatics and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh, that's what that is." And I kind of like was connecting the dots. And then when it came time to you know, like start thinking about college, where you want to go, blah 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 blah. I told my like counselors in high school, I was like, okay, I definitely want to study animation. I want to make a career out of animation and art and visual storytelling. I love storytelling. I discovered how awesome the freaking, you know, hero's journey is
Mm-hmm.
at some point during my college career. And my counselors at the time were just like, oh, don't go to an art school. Like, I think you're better off like studying something more I don't know, like traditional, and maybe keep
Ah.
art as like an extracurricular on the side. And I remember just kind of being like, yeah, whatever, screw you guys. Like I had an an economics teacher at the time who was like, I want to pick your brain. Like you really don't care about money at all, do you? And I was like,
Nope.
it like what yeah, no, I like who gives a fuck? I want to make stuff. I want to
Right.
know how to make stuff. And seeing the time that we're in now, like
Mhm.
maybe they were onto something, but I still think that the experiences and the lessons that I learned from college, the people that I met at art school, the professors that I got to work with, like it's such an incredible opportunity. And like I can't, as many people have said here before, cannot picture myself doing anything else. I can't express verbally how art makes me feel, and making art makes me feel, except for like making weird little I have like little what do you call it, like vocal stems. Like I'll be drawing and I'm like this, you're so silly, like I'm like talking to the character. But
Hey, so
it's just like
sometimes those vocal stems are a really good thing to incorporate in some of your art in one form or fashion. I mean, for come on, ladies.
yeah, it's just like, I mean, it's just such a, I don't know, it's such a physical sensation, an overwhelming sensation.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, I can also understand where you're coming from, like especially like you said in high school when you had that like full tour of the facility. Look, again, I'm from like bumfuck nowhere, Georgia. All right, like out in the country and like nothing like that. I would have killed for an opportunity to see that kind of stuff, but there wasn't that kind of opportunity in Georgia at the time. Um,
Right.
but like for you, it's not like you were 100. Like you knew you wanted to do something kind of within an art in one form or fashion. You just didn't know exactly like the storyboard aspect. It's not like you were really well versed in like the animation pipeline or whatnot and all that was involved with that. So for you, it's more just like absorbing the information in than thinking about how exactly I'm gonna get there. You know.
Absolutely, yeah.
So I can totally understand where you were at that kind of headspace, and to see that like that that exposure to it led you down this path to where here you are right now, like really doing some phenomenal stuff in one form or fashion. When especially when it comes to some of the animations and some of the storyboards and whatnot, like I genuinely am curious because I made sure to take time to go through your YouTube and see some of those like storyboards and whatnot. What is the process like for you to really develop like a storyboard or an animatic or whatnot? Like how do you go from like weird random idea that maybe involves a vocal stem to finished product that you put out there and such?
I think that, man, I think, well, a lot of the projects that I show on my YouTube were stuff that I was making it at college, and so we
Okay.
had like little prompts and things about like uh maybe I should maybe I should know what I'm talking about. I'm getting really political.
It's perfectly fine.
I'm like, what did I make? Like,
I mean, you've made a ton of good animatics in one form or fashion. I'll go ahead and say like the one that pops in my head that is my personal favorite one is What a Day, where it's kind of the clash of you and obviously the cat person that I see in your icon or whatnot. That is a great animatic.
thank you. That one in particular, we had the prompt from our professor of uh it's basically like, oh, like the prompt was what a day, and it's like, okay, like what do you do with that? Like how does that make you feel? Like what do you imagine when you hear the phrase what a day? And before then we had been doing stuff like, oh, do an animatic of like what your morning routine is, do an
Mm-hmm.
animatic of uh meeting a friend, or like this, that, and the other thing. And what a day, like my first like process of that was just like, I don't know, like maybe I get like mildly inconvenienced somehow on my way to school, but then like several people did the same idea of like, oh, we're going to school and like something like stupid happens, like you get stuck in traffic or whatever.
Right.
And I like I was trying to do this idea a couple times, and I like my human Sona, but I wasn't like having as much fun drawing it or like knowing what to do with it. And then I also had this like in the back of my head, like sometimes you would present these projects in class and like the teacher's like, okay, like we're doing like a critique or something, and the teacher's like, okay, what's wrong with this image, or not what's wrong with it, but like does anyone have any feedback that they want to share, anything that they noticed during the project? And like someone, like there was always one person which like there's always one person who like raises their hand and they're like, why is it an animal? It's like, who cares?
Why is it an animal? It's animation. Live a little. Have a little imagination. Come on.
Fun. Have some fun with it. Like, why are you making this weird? No, but I would, you know, include anthropomorphic animals a couple times in my projects. And at that point, I hadn't used her yet. Mm-hmm. I had a version of like what the morning routine is, where it was just like a pet cat that was like excited to get like fed in the morning or something.
Okay.
And then in this one, I was like, okay, I'm giving her full-blown personality. And my thought was like kind of like how embarrassing it would feel to like reveal to everybody like I may be a furry, like, you know, it's like putting her on display, but like being kind of like upset about it the whole time,
right?
And like just kind of it's like, what are you doing here? Like, I don't want to see you here. Don't follow me to class. Like, this is my new life. This is my new school. Like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it was so much more fun, that kind of like dynamic of like a character who like, I don't know, it's sort of like, oh, their secret is like out in the open. And it was, I had a whole plan after that where like the character would get into like some you know, situations, and by the end of it, like the human would kind of be like, oh, okay, like this is ridiculous, like I you know, need to get rid of you or whatever, and have a moment of like I'm not you know, taking you with me anymore. I'm not taking you out. I can't take you anywhere. And then it would be revealed eventually that like everyone was kind of like chill with Peach, and kind of just like, I don't know, they're kind of sick. Like, what's the problem?
Like, yo, where's the Peach? Peach, come on.
Yeah, bring the Peach out, man. Show us your peaches.
Show us your peaches.
Excuse me. But it was kind of like a way of being like, oh, this ain't so bad. Like, you know, if like I met people who didn't give a fuck if it was a cat or not, and like those people understand that like art is art regardless of like, you know, what it looks like, or, you know, that kind of thing, what the contents are. And, you know, like I think it benefited me in the end because I was making something that was exciting while I was learning. And so I pushed it the extra mile. It became a little bit more animated than it was supposed to be, just because I was like just so into it, I guess.
Right. I mean, honestly, like I could definitely see it with that one in particular, like just how much of a love you have of like showing off that interaction or whatnot, and like showing the expressions more than anything else. I am not gonna lie, if you ever decided that you wanted to take that little start or like that little bit of an animatic and expand it to like a whole film, or at least like a full short film in one form or fashion, I would watch every single second of that, because I think that is just a fun concept in one form or fashion. Just like just like a person trying to live their life, especially starting at a brand new school, and all of a sudden their first Sona OC somehow comes to life, and it's like, you're gonna ruin everything for me, when in reality it's like, no, they're cool. You're an art school. We're a bunch of weirdos. Like, come on. Like,
yeah, we're all on the same page here. We all have weird demons, weird creative demons.
Like,
I will say, I posted this comic or this animatic, and I didn't really expect it. I think I posted it once before without the audio, and then I was just like, oh, I don't know, like for my portfolio or whatever, I'll like throw in my own pitch with my voice and everything. And when I posted that, it suddenly like took off like overnight. Like, I think I posted it at like 2 a.m. and I was just like, whatever, and like added it to my website and like moved on with my life. And then it just sort of like blew up, like, oh, like not like not insanely, but, you know, like enough for me to be like, that's a difference.
Yeah.
And I then started getting a bunch of comments about Mike and Melissa, and I'm like, who's Mike and Melissa? And I go to look at, have you ever seen Mike and Melissa, do you know?
I don't think I've ever heard of Mike and Melissa.
Oh my goodness. It's basically the same thing, but he's like I don't know. You just have to see it. I can't talk about it. I cannot talk about it. I'm gonna let you go and experience Mike and Melissa. But when I saw the parallels, I was like, oh, yeah, it is amazing. It's wonderful.
Because the fact that there are people making that instant parallels or whatnot, like that makes me.
It's like, who is this Mike and Melissa? Who are these Mike and Melissa characters? And it was like life-changing for me. I feel like you really can't top that. You like, it was just a work of art in itself.
Interesting. Like, I'm already seeing like just screen grabs from it or what. I'm like, okay, interesting. This is I can understand why people would make that comparison. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Goodness. No, but it's good to see that like people find that instant connection or whatnot. But also, like I said, if you ever decide that like you love that concept enough that you want to just go like full film with it or whatnot, I don't care if it goes into one theater. I will travel my ass 1,000,000 miles to go to that single theater and pay for that ticket to see that like in person.
Oh, that is very flattering. I'm very flattered. I will try my best.
I mean, only if you want to. I mean, obviously, you know, seeing all the different aspects of art they've already been able to have a hand in or whatnot, like it's really insane to see what you've been able to produce out there. Like on the animation alone, I was really impressed as I did, you know, more research on you, especially with probably your most recent short film that you've been able to release out there, Panic Room. I breathe. It's okay. I like it. I was just curious. What was the inspiration for it?
Okay, that was another project that I had for school. I think I started it during my junior year.
Okay.
I had already transferred to the school I graduated from, Otis, College of Art and Design. We don't have a program specific to making a short film, like CalArts or something. But I figured if I was gonna, you know, like pursue this as a career, I should come up with a project where I can basically try everything. And so my main inspiration for Panic Room, the first thing that I made was just a bunch of sketches of like what sort of style I like to see. I really like stuff like I loved Arcane a lot. I loved Gorillas. I loved any sort of like combination of like, you know, kind of realistic and cartoony things like meshed together, or cartoony ways of depicting realistic situations and stuff. And so the first things that I made were my painted backgrounds. I love color. I love composition. I love use of lighting to create like moods and everything.
Right.
Somewhere along the lines while I was like designing this thing, like I was still freaking out about the story because I feel like I overthink story to the point where like I just don't make anything. And I was like, I have that stupid mindset of like, well, not stupid, but I have that mindset of if it's not perfect, don't make it. Like
I know that mentality so hardcore.
Yeah, it's like you have to know exactly what you want to say if you're gonna say anything at all. And so like the story was what I was like most concerned with. I was like, I have this character, I have this idea, I don't know what to do with them. And I think somewhere along the lines while I was first developing that project, it was like for some like off to the side, like I don't know, like they said, oh, make like a environment or something, and I designed these backgrounds, I designed this character, and I kind of left it as is. And then maybe like a couple months later I was like at a party with some of my friends, and I had a moment where I like went to the bathroom and I just kind of like like just like all the air left my body, and I was like, I love interacting with people so much, I love being around people, but like something like freaks me out about it because I'm an extrovert. I get like I get energy from being around other people, but it does wear me out at the same time. Or like sometimes I feel like I can't like keep up in a conversation. I start going quiet. I start kind of like disassociating, like getting inside of myself and like all that kind of stuff.
There's only so much of your social battery that you're able to exert at like a set period of time or whatnot.
Yes. Yeah, but I also am cursed with wanting to, interact with people at the same time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And so I had like a whole moment in this bathroom where I was like, just go back outside, just go talk to people. And I was like, I kind of need a minute, just go outside. Like, I kind of want to just stay here. And I sort of had like a little mini, like, not a panic attack, but I had like a little mini, like, I don't know, like powwow with myself where I was like, okay, like, I'm just going to breathe for a second and then I will re-enter. And then, of course, it's like you get back into that. Like, the people that I was talking to, they're all fine people. They're wonderful people. I'm still friends with them to this day. I live with some of them. Like, it's an amazing group of people that, like, I found. Like, I really found my people at school, which is the whole point of going to school in the first place.
Right.
But I, like, I can't help it if I, get spooked sometimes. And so I started to see this character, like the anxiety that they were exuding and like, just like they looked worried and like disheveled and like weird. And I was just like, I don't know, I kind of want to just talk about that or I just want to explore those feelings because like my favorite thing to explore in art is emotion and
Absolutely.
like expressions and all that kind of thing. I will say Panic Room ended up really rushed towards the end. I feel like the animations and the cleanup is what happened last.
Okay.
And a lot of the animation was straight from my storyboards. I basically just copied and pasted the lines and filled in the color and called it a day because we didn't have structure in the sense of like, okay, we have this amount of time to work on this specific project and have it done by this deadline.
Right.
It was all self-managed. Like it was a very like open-ended thing, which made it difficult to navigate. But I think I got a good chance of like exploring every aspect of the pipeline. Like I made the storyboards, I animated the shit, I cleaned it up even though I hate cleanup.
I can imagine.
And then I was able to paint the backgrounds. I used some 3D. I used Blender. I got a chance to shout out to Rito Bandito, by the way, for helping me out with the Blender aspect. Like they are a saint. But I got to try a lot of things. I got to try a lot of ideas. And it's like I just sat on it then for like the next like 2 or 3 years, and just because then the anxiety of I don't think I can share this like settled in as well. But at a certain like I started to reanimate parts. I started to be like I can do better than this, and then once again I kind of kicked myself and I was like, dude, just call it a day. Like this is this project at this point.
Yep.
You can do better on the next one. Like don't worry about it. Don't stress. And so, like, it was sort of like this paradoxical, is that? Yeah. Sort of situation where it was just like, I wanted to, talk about like, oh, sometimes I get anxious and that's okay while also being anxious and thinking it wasn't okay.
It's kind of I guess in a way like a self-fulfilling prophecy in a way is like, I want to talk about anxiety, too anxious to talk about anxiety.
Yeah, basically. But I was, I'm happy with how it turned out. I'm happy with the final product and I'm happy to just leave it as it is and do better on the next one.
I mean, I think you did a really phenomenal job with it just in general. I mean, genuinely, like I loved kind of the emotion that you were able to portray in that or whatnot, the interesting interactions, like for example, just the fact that you got to basically the character is like trying to smack themselves but somehow smacks the mirror version or whatnot. That's a cool little like detail right there. The when it transitioned from 2D to 3D with the Blender stuff or what, that's whenever I was like, oh wow, okay, this is cool, this is interesting. Like I was genuinely impressed to see like how you're able to push that one out there while also like still telling like a pretty good basic like, hey, this is how it feels to have anxiety sometimes. Like I think it was mission accomplished if I do say so myself.
Thank you very much.
I was gonna say, like, because hearing you talk about like how projects were like presented to you and how you got to do stuff in college or whatnot, like it reminds me back to whenever I was in college because I went to school for filmmaking. I still gotta get
Oh
my,
yeah,
I still got a semester left to get my degree, but that's a whole different story. That's me. That's my own anxiety of going back to school. Um,
sure.
but like there'd be times where like I'd have short films based solely on like simple prompts or whatnot, and like just go from there. Like two of the films that I made was because at the beginning of the semester, my professor told me, "All right, we're making two films this semester. You're gonna make a comedy and you're gonna make a horror. That's it. That was the only like guideline or whatnot." Meanwhile, like my first film project was like we were given like an emotion, and I think my emotion was excitement or just excite or whatnot. And so the way that I portrayed that is I had our main person showing no expression whatsoever, just going about their day, but then like exciting stuff would like happen like all around them. Like one of the people has like a lottery ticket that they're scratch or whatnot, and they win, and they're just like celebrating for joy or whatnot. And I forget what was the other one or whatnot. But meanwhile, like at the very end, you see our main character completely expressionless, looks down, and there's a penny on the ground. He picks it up and he's celebrating like he just won the Super Bowl or something like that.
Oh, that's cute. I love that. That's awesome.
I love like doing like weird subversion of expectations in one form or fashion or whatnot, and especially whenever I got a chance to like say, all right, the film thing is gonna be the film thing or whatnot, but I want to like explore my own ideas or whatnot. Like one of the ideas that I've explored that I want to like bring to animation in some form or fashion in the near future, and like maybe go like on the indie animation route or whatnot, is this concept called shifted. It's about a person that is just randomly given the ability to shapeshift and does not know how the fuck to do it.
Oh, dude.
And like the way that it works in this universe, it's not so much you think the object and you become the object. It's one of those you have to think of a descriptor of the object, and that's how you become the object, but you don't know what descriptor is gonna make you turn into said product or whatnot. So like one of the selling points I had or whatnot is the fact that like it was even on the poster was a cactus, and the way that the person thought was they had gone to their job or whatnot, and they hear their boss coming, and it's like, God, I don't want to deal with this prick. And for some reason, prick made them turn into a cactus.
Oh my god! And then the boss just comes in and is like, "Oh, a cactus." Cool.
Yeah, it's literally just one of those like, hey, it's nice to see you show up finally. And it's just a cactus in the chair. It's like, has anyone seen them? Where the fuck are they?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, and then we get like the internal monologue of like, am I a cactus? I'm a cactus. What the fuck?
He's still like sentient, like within
yeah. Because
my god.
Because obviously, like they have to think in order to become something else or whatnot. It's like they can't like stay. It's not like they turn to a cactus and they're doomed to be a cactus for the rest of their life.
How do you think of yourself to turn back, or does it just like wear out?
That's something I still need to explore. That's why I would love to like explore it more in like a like animation form or like a series form in one form or fashion. Like I would, it's a concept I still love and I want to explore more. So hey, if there are indie animation people out there that like to help me explore this concept a little bit more, hit me up.
Pinging all indie animation people, just like if you're out there.
Yeah, no, trust me. Like, especially knowing the people that I am friends with or whatnot, there's a lot of people in the postmodern art podcast community that would love to help out with something like that.
Absolutely, I think like basically all people who care about animation right now are basically indie artists at this point.
Oh yeah,
like,
no, absolutely.
Disney and all these like corporate, they're not doing anything for them.
Preach it, say it louder for the people in the back.
Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say hell was the one company, Ketchup Entertainment or whatnot. If they want to take this concept like they've been taking the Looney Tunes off of the Warner Brothers or whatnot, and like actually doing stuff with it or whatnot, instead of Warner Brothers using it as a tax write off, because fuck them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, it's one of those like I'd be more than happy to help out. Anyways, I'm gonna just sip this water and get back to the question.
I'm just gonna sip this tea, this hot piping tea that we have.
Oh man, the tea cannot be. It's almost like spicy tea with how hot it is, if that's even a possibility. No, but back to what we were talking about. It was incredible to actually get a chance to like look through your animations and animatics or whatnot. It also makes me wonder as well, like seeing kind of how you're able to present yourself, I would be curious. I imagine there's got to be one kind of animation or one kind of animatic that makes you like the most proudest, that you look at the end of the day and you're like, I'm so glad I got the opportunity to just do this and get this out there.
I guess in that case, Panic Room has to be that, because
Okay.
it took so long for me to even decide to post it. And I think that in itself was a milestone for me.
All right.
But I don't know. I think like every time I make any animation or project or comic or anything, I always have to take like, I don't know, like a couple days worth of just replaying it over and over and over again before I'm
Right.
like, okay, I'll put it out there. And I'm always proud of the work that I do, but I always imagine as well that like nothing's ever going to be like the best of, that like the next project's always going to be better than the last, and it's just like a constant learning experience.
You know what we call that? Progress. Character growth.
Progress.
Development.
She's growing. She's growing. Oh my god.
And it's cool to see, obviously, like, the more you get the chance to animate and put some stuff out there, like, it's really cool. But also, somehow, in all this chaos of you trying to really become an animator and really get out there and really get opportunities, stuff like that, you managed to find a way to make an impact on the internet with some of these incredible concepts and these incredible comics with a certain particular anthropomorphic cat. You know, kind of last one, get back to the original point, which obviously we have, as you were known as, piles of peaches, like I said in the intro.
Oh my goodness.
What inspired you to present yourself out there as piles of peaches? Like, what made you want to like put yourself out there in this form, in the peaches form, if I may say so myself?
I have to say it was all completely by accident.
Okay.
I think like the first like I don't know, introduction that I ever had to Peach, like I had drawn characters similar to her as I was growing up. I think it started as like a wolf.
Okay.
And then at some point it turned into a cat, because I like joined some Warrior Cats forums and wanted to, you know, like
that was my bet. It was gonna be the Warrior Cats.
uh-huh. And who did you think you were gonna bring on today? But
no, look, did I say it was a bad thing? I was just saying I was betting on it.
No, I'm just defensive. But I think it was 2019 in particular. Was that like just before the pandemic or at the start of the pandemic? I think it was 2020, right?
Yeah,
I think
everything shut down like March of 2020. That's when it all shut down. There was I remember there was like whispers of like, you know, the coronavirus or whatnot, based on like China, like late 2019, early 2020, but things did not really hit America until March of 2020.
Yes, and I think that like 2019 was when I was hitting the end of my amino phase. I don't know if you've ever been on amino. It's
I was lucky enough not to be on amino, but I know of amino, and I definitely heard of it.
Yeah, what a shit show. But I was on some amino forums, and I think I was like getting over it. I was like, okay, whatever, like screw amino. One of my friends from amino created a Discord.
Okay.
And me and a couple other like you know, creatives like just kind of huddled into this one online space, and I started to feel like, okay, well, if I can't post on amino, I gotta post somewhere, because I just like making art and I like putting it out there, as anxious as it makes me. And I was literally just sitting like on at like the dining table at my dad's house, I remember, and just kind of like thinking like, what would I call my character? Like, what would my character be called? And I liked the word peach, because I thought, oh, it's like fruity and like cutesy, and like, you know, I also think that like peaches have a little bit of underlying innuendo, maybe.
Yeah, they certainly do. They certainly do.
I like a little bit of crassness as well. I guess so. I just thought, oh, that's funny. Like peach, like, you know, it has a couple different meanings and interpretations. And
a
then I was
person
just
of
like,
taste,
I don't know,
I see, huh?
I was like, oh, but peaches, like juicy peaches, like blah 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 blah, like kind of just like cycling through names, and then I heard the word piles of peaches in my head, and I was like, wait a second, like that sounds fun to say. That's a fun little phrase. So then I slapped that on. I uploaded like a profile picture or something. It was like some silly thing I made on my iPad in 2019.
Nice.
And I started talking in these forums. I started posting on Twitter, and I didn't have like a cohesive style or anything like that. I didn't intend on having any cohesion in my work at all. I was just like making stuff, talking to people, and like connecting with artists one way or another.
Right.
And somewhere along the pandemic, like I got really involved with it, because it's like, what else are you gonna do? Like, you're inside all the time, like
Right.
you have time to make stuff. I was like calling people on the phone all the time. I learned a lot about myself, about other people, like about art during that time. And it just sort of was a right place, right time kind of thing. And I was just drawing for the fun of it. I didn't really see it as like a networking opportunity, or I wasn't looking for clout or anything.
Right.
And one day in particular, I like drew and this was like towards the end of the pandemic. Now we were back at school. I was meeting people in person for the first time. I met a lot of I met my roommates that I'm living with right now during this time, when we came like right back. And I remember like I posted some silly comic about like Peach is like texting some guy and looking for comfort or something, and he says something like, LOL, that's cool, check out this kickflip, and like sends her a video of himself like doing a kickflip.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking anything of it. Listen, I'm gonna be honest, that happened to me in real life. I cried about it, and then I laughed my ass off the second it was over. And I was like, that's so silly. Like, what a stupid thing to like, what a stupid interaction or whatever. And I just doodled it really quick. And I had been working on that point on like a long form comic. I was trying to, it was basically, like, I think of like my short form comics as like sort of slice of life, like a visual diary for me, because a lot of that stuff happens IRL, and I just think to myself, what a weird little experience, what a silly little thing, like and it's sort of my way of like reminiscing, and also like finding a way to understand what just happened, kind of thing, or like process the information. And so I went and I like doodled this silly little comic. I was like, how stupid. I was kind of like laughing at myself, and I like posted it online. And again, overnight, like I think at the time, like it got like maybe like 5,000 likes on Twitter, which was like the first time I had any traction at all. And I was like, oh my goodness, like what just happened? And there's like all these comments of like people being like, that asshole, like somebody ought to like cancel him, like how dare you like not do that to your friend? And then there's like other people on the other side being like, man, like you can't like just like trauma dump on your friends all the time. And there was like these like actual like arguments happening in the comments, and I was like, what did I do? Like, what did I release onto the internet? Like, I didn't think anything of it. But then like I thought it was like silly to see like people having like these reactions to it, and like just something that I like offhandedly was just like whatever, like take this. And like people were actually like considering it and like thinking about it and like talking about it, and I was like, wait, that's kind of base. Like like I'm kind of having fun with this. And then I think like a little while later I made the I think the next one, if I'm remembering correctly, was about like being at a club and like talking to some girl only to realize that she was straight. And I was like,
yes, that one.
I again, it was just a thing of like I think I see the punchline in my head first, and then I just go like that, like what a silly interaction. And then I put it out, and again it started getting more attention, and I was like, wait a second, like I, as much as I would love to do the long form comic, I think it's easier on me to do the short form, like 4-panel things, and just kind of share like little interactions. And then something else that I discovered along the way is like the way that people were responding to it. Like some people were feeling like it was really relatable. They were like seeing themselves in it and recognizing like tendencies that they have, tendencies that their friends have. They were like considering, or it felt rewarding because it seemed like people were able to see themselves. And like the whole point of me drawing them in the first place was to feel like I was recognizing like my own relationship to the real world and like other people and like how I interact with, I don't know, like life and whatever. And so it became a lot more rewarding than I ever expected it to be. And so I just kept doing it.
Yeah, and by God, you have been doing it. I like. First off, I gotta say I saw that first little like the first comic that you were talking about, and for the people out there that were like in one way or another, if it was really that bad or really that traumatic of a situation, you wouldn't have put it out there in the first place. All right, like
yeah. Not as bad as people made it out to be, for sure. I was like, no, he's okay, he's cool.
Yeah, I'm like again, if there wasn't any sort of humor in it in one form or fashion or whatnot, you would not put it out there because who else is gonna like take a moment that any other person might recognize that like, hey, you're really struggling, you might need someone to talk to or whatnot. Like some people may recognize that, but this guy's just like, lol, that sucks. Lol, here's this kickflip, sick. Like, like how can you not laugh at something as ridiculous as that? Obviously, in the moment, I imagine like that's not the response I was looking for. God damn this fucking idiot.
Like there's just people like that, like you don't, and friends like that. It's like he was trying to cheer me up one way or another, I think, but also setting a boundary a reasonable boundary at the same time. So it's like I don't have any animosity with that. I certainly don't love to be everybody's therapist. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I like having a little bit of humility in my comics as well. I like kind of being a little, never self-deprecating, I would say, but just kind of like honest with like we're all kind of weird and have like our quirks and whatever. Like we know weird people or like fun, silly, like rude or like like people are just people, and that's just something that I don't know. I value is like. I don't know, just taking people as they are.
Absolutely. And also back to the other comic that you mentioned as well, the one about, this woman is straight or whatnot. I think part of that was not just how silly and how honest that one was, but like it was the way you drew the expressions, especially that final panel of like the zoom in and like the face or whatnot. The fact that people took that face and memed it a million different ways should speak leaps and bounds about how people love that comic or whatnot.
That was like I had a moment of like people were drawing the face or like wanting to see themselves with the expression, and I was like, oh my God, I made it. Like it was super rewarding. I didn't expect it at all. I didn't think that it would like do anything to anybody, but like people just appreciated feeling, I don't know, relatable in some sense. Or
because I mean, like whenever you put that stuff out there, it's not like you're anticipating it to hit like 200 million times or however many people do it. You're just putting like an honest expression of yourself out there, like just how you felt in that moment, just like a fun little story that hopefully some people might get a quick little laugh out of more than anything else. Like, it makes me wonder how challenging is it sometimes to be like as honest and like putting yourself out there like that with some of these moments, some of them being silly and ridiculous, but some of the ones being a lot more like harder to express and harder to talk about.
I think like first of all, I love this question because I think about this all the time. Mm-hmm. But I think that like just I think about it all the time. It's hard to put into words, but that's kind of the point, is that like art is such I can't find the words to say it, but art is this tool that helps me kind of visualize things that are hard to verbalize and like, talk about or recognize, or it makes stuff that is like like maybe terrible, amazing, like incomprehensible, or like abstract. It makes it all very digestible and accessible because you give it space to like you use all the tools in your handbook in order to, or in your toolbox I should say, in order to express this abstract idea or this abstract feeling or this complex feeling, and just kind of like give it meaning. You're like that, like there's so much shit that happens all the time. There's like, fun shit, like silly stuff, like, you go out with your friends, you have a great time, you have awkward moments, you have bad dates, you have, just horrible tragedies, like, things that like you can't process, like it, like, in a straightforward way. I
Right.
feel like art is something that makes it easier to like see and like to just, I don't know, like it just it it's such a timeless like tool. It's such an amazing tool that like is accessible to like anybody who wants to try it out, like just to, see how you feel, and like see how other people feel when they see how you feel, and like it's a way of like connecting that, like, I don't know, it's just kind of amazing to me. And I think
Right.
that like tackling some of the trickier situations with art, I don't know, I think it makes it easier to process, I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I can easily understand where you're coming from as kind of the mentality of it's more like a tool or like a medium for way for you to express yourself that you may not have a way to do otherwise or whatnot. Like it is for you, it is for you the translator for however you're feeling in the moment, because it's hard for you to really speak that audibly, but like showing that like, medium of like the comics or like the animation to really express yourself. It I completely understand where you come from, especially with like some of the situations that like the ones we've already talked about. One of the ones that like I think about like as a good way to express that is kind of the 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 one comic about you being on a date and kind of still having like more or less the trauma of like the previous horrible relationship,
Mm,
to the point to where like it's hard for you to just simply hold your date's hand, like
mm.
just because of it's hard for you to express that otherwise. But like when it comes to that comic or whatnot, like it makes so much sense and makes it so understandable, and it like seeing that alone, like I just want to give you like the biggest hug to let you know that everything is okay, because like you're a fantastic person, and like you shouldn't let stuff that happened in the past define like how everything else in the future is gonna go. Like I felt I wanted to give you a hug just to say everything's gonna be okay. I promise you it will be okay.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I definitely like, I like, it's still something that I struggle with, and it, like, I don't think it necessarily goes away, but it
Right.
does get easier. And
Yeah.
I'm definitely like like nowadays I cannot be more grateful. I can't, like, I can't help but practice gratitude all the time for all the people that I know, like the places that I'm at, like the, the people I'm surrounded with, like, and just like the people who follow me on Twitter, as well, is like, I'm surprised every day by how generous they can be and how
Right.
like caring, and like, when I share stuff like that, sometimes it's a thing of like, I just have to get this off my chest and just get this out of there. And like the responses that I get, like I feel rewarded because I feel like as like someone else at some point has felt this way, and they probably like didn't like recognize it, or they're in the process of recognizing it. And it's just sort of a way of being like, hey, we're like, like we're all in the same boat essentially, or like we all been there, like, it like it's it's kind of, I don't know, just I feel like I find it necessary to like share those experiences,
Right.
sort of like the history not repeating itself kind of thing.
Yeah.
You can't necessarily help it. Like sometimes stuff like that is just bound to happen, or like, it's unfortunate, but it's, you know, something that exists. But unless we talk about it, then like it doesn't get addressed. And I mean, I grew up during like 2016, the Me Too movement was
Yep.
like a huge thing, and I had space to, process and talk about, and understand these situations maybe in a way that like some people uh don't get. So I'm also grateful for that. but it is just like, I don't know, it's like something that I find important to address in my work as well, because it is a reflection of me, I suppose.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sorry, but for a second there, you said 2016, and I had Vietnam flashbacks for like a half a second
Oh,
there.
shit.
Like, 'cause I'm just
Whoops.
thinking, it's like, so, like, I'm just thinking, like, future generations are going to be asking, like, so when exactly did the nation and did the world start going into peril? And people are going to be like, it all started in 2016 with this fucking gorilla.
Oh my god, dude! What a timeline we're in. Like,
I know, right?
is something weird happening? Does anyone feel like in the air, like their skin itches? Like, I don't know.
I feel like I am currently experiencing some sort of dream, and I'm just waiting for someone to slap me out of the fucking coma that I'm in, and things will be all sorts of better. That's what I'm hoping.
Oh my god, I'm gonna wake up and my fucking fursona is gonna be laying on my bed, and I'm gonna be like, "Whoa! How did we get here?" Like,
how long have you been sitting there? How long have you been asleep? Oh goodness. I will say though, like, on top of obviously talking about like the super duper serious stuff sometimes and like the way of using it to express yourself, you can't help but love and laugh whenever you just get silly and ridiculous and you just have like these really hilarious ones. And I know, at least for me, the one that got me interested in your stuff in the first place and got my attention to like learning about you and such in the first place or whatnot was the ever so classic comic to where you basically address like, hey, I'm just staring, like basically doing the office camera thing or whatnot. And like the little comic animation or whatnot, like you're talking about something that's like, wow, you're really staring off. No, I'm just looking at this camera. Wait, what camera?
Okay, and that was again, being from actual life experience. I've always been horrible with eye contact. I have never been able to look at people while I talk to them. Like, I'm getting better at it now, but just know if I'm looking at you while you're talking, like, I'm only processing half of what you're saying, and the other half of my brain is going towards, is this eye contact going on for too long? Should I look away at some point? Should I fiddle with my water bottle, or like,
right.
You know, is this too intense? It's like that is just some, I'm sorry, like I'm not gonna look at you. And so a lot of the time when I'm actually talking about something that I'm like really passionate about or like need to process my words properly, I'm looking away. I'm looking at literally anything else but the person that I'm talking to. And only a couple of people like have cared to mention it or made a point of it. And just in that moment in particular, I was like really into this conversation. I was like telling him like something that I was like really passionate about. And suddenly he's like, why don't you look at people when they talk to you? And I was like, well, duh, I'm looking for the camera. Like, and it was like so like offhand, like I had no intention of making that joke. I had no intention of like, I don't know, like acknowledging a fourth wall break or whatever. But weeks after that happened, I suddenly just saw in my head the little dance, and I was thinking, I think I doodled the dance first,
right?
And I was like, oh, wait a second, this little clown, this little gesture, like
this little goofball.
Yeah, and I thought of that conversation again, and I was like, oh, that's hilarious, and I went ahead and made it, and then like some other. I don't know, some other, and I can't remember what their podcast is called, but someone else asked to feature it, and I was kind of like, whoa, like that's cool, yeah, sure, like whatever. And they talked about like, I don't know, it was very gratifying to hear them, you know, kind of acknowledge it and like talk about the things that they liked about it, because it just felt like a, I don't know, like a passing thought at the time. And then when I actually took time to consider it and like, I don't know, like give it meaning and basically put it on display, that's when people can, I don't know, respond to it. And it's just, yeah.
I feel like that comic was one of the ones that like it transcended like not just like Twitter or whatnot, but all sorts of different like social media platforms as a way of like people like seeing that and like understanding, like they're basically pointing at like this is what I mean, this is how I'm feeling or whatnot. Like I'm 90% sure, I'm pretty sure I've seen that comic on like Facebook at one point. Like that's how.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Facebook. Yeah. We made it to Facebook.
I'm pretty sure your comics have made it to Facebook at least one form or fashion. All right, like,
dude.
And like, look, I'm the same way, all right? Like, if people are paying very close attention at home or whatnot, like, you'll notice whenever I'm asking like certain questions, sometimes I'll like look away from the guest or I'll look away from the computer screen. I'll be like looking just like generally up here, somewhat like visualizing how exactly I like trying to formulate the words in my head of how I'm supposed to ask like the next question or like transition into like the next bit or whatnot. So I totally understood where you were coming from when it came to that comic or whatnot. Like, it hit me on a different level, and like just and of course, obviously, like the little animation, the little silly goofball dance that you did at the end of it. How can you not laugh at that? I mean, come on.
I did dance in real life too. I looked past my friend and like he turned around to like look for he thought that I was talking about like a security camera or something. He's like, "Where's there a camera?" And he turns back around and I'm doing like a dance like at the invisible audience or whatever. And he's like, "Dude, stop that!" Like, he got like so angry about it.
It's like a visualization of that one Vine back in the day or whatnot of just like, you know, the people are having the conversation, the dudes like look at the camera like as the office, like, and the other two be like, "Dude, what are you looking at? There's nothing there. There's there's nothing there." It's just looking at another camera. What? There's nothing there. You can stop the whole entire office thing, dude.
I love it.
It does lead me to also wonder, like, because you've got a lot of good comics out there, and I trust me, I want to talk more about some of these comics. But just right off the bat, before I continue, is there anyone that you can think of that is your personal favorite? Whether it be just like the way that you were able to properly express how you were feeling, or the way that kind of connected with the audience they didn't anticipate. Like, what has been your favorite webcomic that you've been able to put out there?
I think I have fun with each of them for a lot of different reasons.
Right.
And usually when I start a new one, it's like there's something in particular that I want to tackle or try or, you know, experiment with. The one that comes to mind is there's like a very tall goth possum girl.
Yes. Yes. Sorry, go on.
That one didn't expect such a strong reaction. That one in particular, again, it was like I went out one night. It was like I think the first time I had been to this one goth bar in my area.
Mm-hmm.
Before then, I don't know if you're familiar with West Hollywood or West Hollywood.
Not at all.
Okay. West Hollywood is this kind of like infamous, basically like gay town in Los Angeles. I grew up there. I've been surrounded by queer people my whole life.
Okay.
I have, you know, it's a huge part of my upbringing. It's a huge part of my community. It's a very intense area though, because like you're always like shoulder to shoulder with like sweaty gay men, right. And it's fun to be there, but like sometimes it gets overwhelming. But I had a friend at the time who just recently had introduced me to this sort of like underground kind of like goth bar that I hadn't even like been in the scene that much. I had friends who were alternative at least, but like right. I'd never been like in, I don't know, like a place like that. But it was a lot more like my style, I guess. Like once I got there, I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like these people are amazing. Look at all these like girls in their beautiful outfits, all these guys who are like in like making a fashion statement out of their, or like a political statement out of their fashion and like all this stuff. It was a very like rewarding scene to be a part of and to see and like to experience. And that night in particular, I bumped into this girl. She's like tall, beautiful, wonderful lady. I'm sure she was there with friends, so like I didn't want to bug her too bad, but I bumped into her and I took it as an opportunity to just be like, oh my God, like I just have to tell you, like I love your outfit, I love your vibe, you like are radiant tonight, like, you know, kind of thing. And she like grabbed my hand, she like got in my face, she's like, I you, like just like this like passionate, like I don't know, like it was like I almost fainted.
I could tell.
But it was just like this wonderful, like overwhelming, like sense of like love and appreciation that like I was hit with, that I was just like, that is just like wonderful. Like I wanted to pick that. And I mean like for the furries, like yes, big beautiful goth baddie, like I will like, you know, feed you tonight. And
there you go.
that comic in particular, I went back and forth with that one for like a couple months, and then I kind of dropped it. I tried to make like a couple other things. I had a million whips that I was posting.
Mm-hmm.
I just recently started compiling like speed paints and stuff because I realized that Clip Studio, wink wink, saves automatically a time lapse of all your drawings if you have that setting on. So I was going through, I was downloading all these time lapses. The time lapse for that comic in particular was so long because it was just me like trying things and like erasing things and trying things and erasing things, trying stuff with 3D, trying stuff with the setting, the colors, the the textures.
Mm-hmm.
And I like just spent forever trying to get that feeling right and trying to get those like compositions right to like, I don't know, like just make it happen.
Right.
And then it like the time lapses themselves are probably like in a sped up form, probably like 30-40 minutes worth of content, because I was just like trying so hard to do it over and over and over again.
Right.
And when I finally got it done, like I couldn't even like squeeze it into the 4-panel format. I felt like I had to spread it out in like each of the different pages so that people could see like the detail and whatever.
Right.
And so that one, I think in particular, I am a fan of. I'm proud of that one. I'm happy with how it turned out. I still revisit it and I zoom in and I go, that little dot right there, that stupid little line, and I can't help it. But I'm happy with how it turned out. I love the colors. I love the vibe.
Yeah, I know. I was just like zooming in. Oh, that nice little reflection. Oh, the nice little like difference between the glitters or whatnot. The text like And look, I know you probably didn't expect that strong of a reaction, but I'm gonna be blunt. The way that you draw women in your comics or whatnot, I simp. There's no other way of wording it. I simp.
Goodness.
I simp. You
What a compliment. No, honestly, because like I mean, me too. Like
there you go. I mean, obviously, because these are the women that you sip over, or you have like a fucking good time over. Why wouldn't you sip over them, right?
Yes, and like it's fun to make the comics of them because I think like I can have Riz, but I think that the comics maybe what is it, glorify me a little bit. Like in real life I'm a little bit of an anxious mess, but I can still appreciate them in art form.
I will say it's like that one was a really good comic for me. My personal favorite one, I just gotta say real quickly, is gotta be the one with you and the lamb in the or you and the sheep in the club or whatnot. And it's like, oh my god, like your vibe is great. Oh my god, so too. Come on, let's sit down. It's like, yeah, it's cool. So where do you work? Yes, I'm a counselor. I work with neurodivergent children. This is making a lot of sense.
I told her that in person. I was like, oh, I see now. You can smell it on me, can't you?
Okay. That's the thing that I did not realize, because I didn't realize how much of it was like you thinking it and telling the audience, that this is making a lot of sense. And then you actually saying it in person. That just makes it so much better. It just makes me love that comic so much more.
She sort of tried to like backtrack a little bit. She's like, oh no, nothing like that. I was like, girl, it's okay. It's only natural. Like, I can't lie. Like, we're here now. Like,
I will say, like, not just for the joke itself, but also, like, that first panel alone with, like, all the different colors and all the different shading or whatnot, like, it was absolutely phenomenal. And once again, like I said, the way you draw women. Anyways, no, like,
thank you.
Oh, you are very welcome. No, as well as, like, I absolutely just love seeing these, like, genuine reactions, or, like, seeing, like, the actual emotion and the true self like really coming out in this form. And I'm really glad you found a way to like use this as like a way to like, you know, get this out there and like really express yourself, because you do a really good job expressing yourself. And I imagine for you, it's gotta be insane to see how many people relate with you and feel those same emotions in one form or fashion. Like the reception you've had since you started dropping these comics, it's gotta be insane, surreal, all the different adjectives, just to see so many people flocking to it.
It totally is. And I never like again, it's like I never set out with the idea of like this is gonna make me famous.
Right.
Like, I am mostly just posting stuff to post stuff. I will say I like at some point along the way I sort of understood what was happening with the algorithm, and so I was able to use it to help with the exposure a little more, but
Right.
just the response that I'm getting, or like the genuine like people like taking time to like talk about and consider and respond and like reach out and like just like appreciate it in one form or another is like just priceless to me. Like I have no idea how that happened. I don't know why it keeps happening, but I'm eternally grateful that like I'm able to make an impact in that way. And I like I have conversations with myself all the time where it's like I get out of social situations like that and I
Mm-hmm.
just kind of think like I screwed that up, like I like that was so awkward, or like I made that weird, or like I said this and I should have said this, or like it should have been this way. But then when you sit back and kind of like I guess like highlight uh I don't know, like realistic moments, and again like give them purpose, like you have the option to like put these things on display and be like, yep, this is me, this is my life, like deal with it.
Yep.
Then yeah, like other people, like ordinary people, get a kick out of that because like they get to just see themselves, or see people that they recognize
Yeah.
in a visual format, and it feels rewarding. It's like, oh wow, like they just like me for real, like it's it's great. I love it.
It goes back to a saying that I've said several times. It's something that I heard ages ago. But like when it comes to like online, interaction, online content in one form or fashion, real will always recognize real. All right, and and especially for you, like these situations that you're putting out there, like yeah, you're using anthropomorphic animals to like express it, but like they're real situations. It's like real people, like real emotions that you're putting out there and whatnot, and people instantly see that and they'll connect to that because either they've seen that or they felt that in one form or fashion, and they're just like, I can't believe I'm not the only one that thought like this, or I can't believe this makes so much
Absolutely.
sense. And like I think that's the easiest reason why people just want to keep seeing more of what you're putting out there. I mean, I can only imagine, like, especially whenever it started taking off, like you said, with the first couple of comics that you were talking about, whether it be the kickflip one or the this woman is straight, like when those are the ones that really started taking off, and like as you kept putting out there like more of these like real life scenarios in fantastical format, and people just kept relating to it, like I can understand how for you it's just like kind of surreal, but also it's kind of one of those, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a little sense.
I have one like moment in particular. I
Okay.
went to Lightbox, which is, if you don't know, a convention for animation,
Mm-hmm.
and just like a big networking opportunity, kind of like Comic-Con specifically for animation in the industry.
Right.
And I knew that uh, Papa Julia was going to be there, co-creator of Legend of PP,
Mm-hmm.
and I booked it to the table. I kind of like hung around in the corner for a second, and I was just like, oh my gosh, she's right there. Like I was kind of like I was so anxious, I was so nervous, but then I eventually like stepped up, and I was like, oh my god, I just want to say like I love Legend of PP so much. I'm a huge fan. I kind of like gushed a little bit,
Right.
and then she's like, oh, like do you make art? And I was like, yes, as a matter of fact, I do. And I kind of like anxiously like pulled up my Twitter page just to be like, oh yeah, this is me. And she's like, I've seen this before. Wait, you made like blah 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 blah. And she like totally recognized my work, and I exploded. I actually exploded like in front of her. And it was really traumatic for her, but it was amazing for me. Like I think
I'm sorry, I love that
it was
expression of like it was traumatic for her, but it was wonderful for me.
I no, I totally like I don't know. That was amazing because I don't know. I grew up watching that stuff. I grew
Right.
up watching like her, like other animators and everything, and suddenly they're just like, "Oh yeah, that's you. Like I know you." I'm like, "Oh, like, like just it was very nerve-wracking but exciting, and that was definitely a moment of like, wait, like people like this work is reaching people. There's been like other like moments where like like I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm like, oh my god, this artist is amazing. I go and follow them. I see like a couple days later, they're like, oh, ping, they followed you back. I'm like, what? Like, just like that keeps happening. Like people, word of mouth. There's like, I mean, in LA, it's almost impossible to like come across or not come across creative people or people in the industry and everything. There's moments where like my dad's like, I was at the bar and I was talking to so and so who worked on Craig of the Creek, and now they follow you, and I'm like, what? Like, what's happening? Like, stuff like that. It's very like it's all I don't know, like again, surreal.
Yep.
But it helps me know that what I'm doing is the right thing, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that alone has to be like the coolest interaction you've had ever since you've really like gotten to get yourself out there and really have your art like reach this incredible audience or whatnot. Like that's that's just insane. Because I know that feeling so much. Like to make it about me for a quick second. No, it's like like whenever we started this podcast, like you saying like, yeah, I've watched a couple of your episodes and it's like, it's really cool. I got that like moment for like a quick section. I'm like, you've actually taken the time to watch my stuff. Okay.
Oh my God, yes.
Because like it's always surreal for me that like, obviously this person that I admire, that person that I love their art or whatnot, and someone and people that I just can't get enough of or whatnot will actually take some time out of their day to like watch even just like a fraction of what I've got to present out there and take something from it. That's always like surreal for me anytime I get a chance to talk to someone. Like I may come across as calm, cool, and collected sometimes when I'm hosting this thing, but deep down inside I'm nervous as fuck to be like, oh, I hope I don't leave a bad impression on this person. Oh dear God.
Yeah, for real. No, yeah. It's hard, it's tough, especially if like art and like sharing art with people and sharing an appreciation of art is like such a personal thing too, that it's like, it's hard.
It is, but I'm glad that you've been able to navigate it so well in a way. Like I said, having just basically putting the truth, like the realness out there, and people finding that love and appreciation from it. It leads me to wonder, like, as you keep going along this kind of stuff, like, is there like an eventual goal, something you'd like to do with like the comics or even like with animation? Like, what do you hope to do as you keep going down this creative path?
Such a scary question. Why would you ask me that?
Look, I say hope. I didn't say what's the plan. Like, you gotta tell me step by step or whatnot, because there's always hope. There's always hope.
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. I feel like sometimes I'm just sort of floating and experiencing, and then like regurgitating what I've experienced, and so I don't know like what my goal is necessarily with it. I think it's just a thing of like, I know that this makes me feel happy. I know it makes other people feel happy. I'm just going to keep doing it and like see where it leads. Cause like again, like when I started out with like posting on Twitter, it was never a thing of like, I'm going to post comics. I'm going to make comics and they're going to be about this and then they're going to do this. They just like started happening and then people liked them. So I kept doing them. And like, I don't necessarily know like where I want to go with it, or like if there's like, something in particular that I want to say with it yet, but I do know that like I have like my values that kind of I think naturally get reflected through the art, and I think as long as I'm continuing to represent the things that I care about, or the people that I care about, or the situations that are important to me, and like sharing them with other people, I think it will in turn end up having a positive impact on I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but like that kind of thing, like just helping people feel I don't know, seen in a way, or like kind of like exposure to things like neurodivergence or relationship I don't know, like complexities and that kind of thing. It's like, how do you navigate these situations? How do other people navigate them? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, it's just kind of like giving it not a name, but a face, I guess. So I imagine I will continue making comics as long as it makes sense to make comics.
Right.
And then, you know, if some other amazing, incredible opportunity comes along, then I'm all for it for sure.
Absolutely. I'm just now anticipating, because especially whenever you're saying like making comics as long as it makes sense. I'm just waiting for the day where if you get a chance, you're like, I think I've told all the stories that I need to towards the tail end, and then there's like 5 different volumes of like physical copies of this stuff. It's gonna be like it's gonna it's gonna rival the length of like Warrior Cats with how many physical books of
Oh
like
my
comics you've been able
God.
to have.
My own anthropomorphic warrior cat series.
But like anthropomorphic warrior cat series that's just real life stuff instead of war among cats,
Yeah.
instead of war among
War
cats.
on social life.
There you go. War on social life, war on mental mental help.
Yeah. Being queer and also being crazy.
Yes, queen. Anyways,
Just gonna throw that one out there.
There you go. There you go. I mean, it does also leave me kind of wonder, because obviously we've been talking a lot when it comes to like what you have been able to produce and what you've been able to get out there. Like, just thinking back to when you like started out with art, like stealing the papers, like the copy papers in order to draw some of your stuff. Starting out from like that little kitten, I guess in this case, to where you are right now, to where you're able to put this stuff out there, just really kind of express yourself like you've never been able to before, and have people really connect with that on a different level, and getting some really cool opportunities out there as well. Like, does it more or less amaze you how far you've been able to develop as an artist?
Oh, absolutely. I think like any time that I've made like major improvements on like the stuff that I was making onto the next thing I was working on was always when I was like, oh, I haven't tried that before, and like just kept practicing and just kept trying things and being like, I want to see this happen. I haven't done it yet, but I want to see it happen. So like just like from I don't know, just having the drive to like continue on and like not give it up at any point, I think is like what like I don't know, led for me to make anything impressive by any means. And you know, the more stuff that you make, the more practice that you have, you're like, wait, I accomplished that thing that I've never tried before. Let me try something else I haven't tried before. And like it just like piles on top of itself, piles of peaches on top of itself.
Yep.
And just continues to help you develop. But
Yeah, there you go.
but it yeah, I don't see it ending anytime soon.
Good. I'm really glad to hear that more than anything else. I mean, it's not like I was ever getting any sort of sense of like, oh my God, you're slowing down. I really gotta get you on the podcast before you stop it. I got a good sense that this is something that you're gonna keep going and really continue to do some impressive stuff. In fact, for this next question, if I may, why don't we just go a little above and beyond with it, and if I may give you more or less the dream scenario.
Oh my goodness.
Let's say I am Big Shot Mr. Moneybags. I come up to him like, look, Sadie, Peach, however you want to be addressed in this situation. We know that you can do some incredible stuff. We've seen what you've been able to produce. Like, when it comes to artists, you're probably one of the more diverse ones we've been able to see out there. Like doing the comics, doing animation, storyboards. Like, there's a lot that we know you can provide. You just need a little extra push, a little extra platform to get you to that point. We have access to everyone and anyone in whatever industry possible. And more money than there should be possible. We really should be compensating the animators that are working day and night to really provide some incredible entertainment for people out there in the world. Hashtag Stand with Animation.
It's necessary.
It's very necessary. But we will focus on that. We promise we will focus on them in a little bit. All right. We are not leaving them behind. But we just want to focus on you and you alone. If given this opportunity, what would be the dream Sadie Sellars or the dream Piles of Peaches project?
I just recently have become obsessed with the idea of basically a revamp of the craft, like modern day The Craft. I love witchy stuff. I love that vibe. I love that aesthetic. And I love the idea that like there's like a little bit of like magic in like, certain people who see the world a different way. So like maybe connect it with like neurodivergence, queerness, like anything other than I don't know, like what's considered the norm,
right?
And maybe tie that in with having the power of like empathy or whatever. But I'm obsessed with this idea of like modern day The Craft. I don't know what format that would be in. Ideally, like as much as I love animation and storyboards and drawing and all that stuff, I really love live action media.
Okay.
A lot of my what do you call it, like logs or whatever, are just filled with live action series and
Mm-hmm.
dramas and movies and all that kind of thing, but maybe with more of a creative I don't know, like a twist to it, like something very visually purposeful. Like
Right.
I really love movies like Suspiria. I love movies that try different things. Like Scott Pilgrim was
Yep.
amazing. The series and the movie, by the way,
Oh,
like can't
absolutely.
go wrong. Yeah, but like movies that are very like purposeful about what they show, and also just have these really real um I don't know, like performances by the actors. I love anything emotionally involved. And I love just the idea of like witchiness and spirituality and that kind of thing. I don't have any idea like what I would do with that, but that like just within the last like week or two, I have been obsessed with this idea of like
Okay.
the craft.
Hey, you know
Uh,
what? Like, we'll give you an opportunity to work with that license however you want. I mean, you can still do storyboards. Live action still needs storyboards in one form or
oh my god,
fashion,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, like, that's still a thing you can accomplish. How you want to translate that from storyboard to finished product, that's up to you. But, like, give you whatever you want, give you whoever actress you want to help out, make this a reality or whatnot. Like, honestly, like, finding the way to connect that to a bit more, like, thought provoking, neurodivergent ideologies or whatnot, that would be a really interesting way to like really present the story in a new light. That would be interesting.
I love it. I love that idea. I love it.
I
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. I don't know what to do with it, but I'm obsessed with that idea.
look, we're just putting the idea out there, and like obviously once we get the money to you, you can do whatever you want with it. We like
Excellent.
but sadly we do gotta get down from the dream scenario. We gotta get back to reality, and I'll ask the ever so generic question: where do you hope to see yourself in, say, 5 to 10 years from now?
I hope to see the animation industry as a whole, the art industry as a whole, make a full fucking comeback.
Say it
People
loud
are
and proud.
We are so tired of the stupid like AI generated like revamp, like, oh, this property existed for years and it made us money before, so it'll make us money again. It's like, shut up. Like
Mm-hmm.
we need to like let the artists be in charge of these stories. And like
Yes.
when people care about what they're making, they make an impact. Like all the
Yeah.
movies I watched as a kid, all the animated features, all the animated shows taught me so much about empathy, about, the environment, about caring about people, about caring about yourself. Just like it teaches you how to be a better human. And if you don't have anything to say and you just want to make money off of like stupid projects all the time, then of course you're going to go bankrupt and nobody's going to want to watch your shows. It doesn't help that you toss these people out of the fucking writers room or out of the whatever, like your local studios or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and go overseas because it's cheaper. You still don't have anything worth saying. You're just saying, how much money can we make off of people? That doesn't work. It's not like viable. And I do think that we are in the process of having a comeback. I do think artists
Yes.
themselves are sick and tired of like the fucking, what is it, drivel that's
Yes.
like coming out of these fucking bug-eyed salamanders, as Bo Burnham likes to call them. But I do think we're making a comeback. I do think people are going to continue making art for art's sake, and we're going to rediscover the value in it, because that's just what happens in art history. This is a tried and true, development, or it's a necessary evil that happens every once in a while, where we go through a lull and everybody hates art, and then suddenly
Mm-hmm.
they're like, wait, art's kind of based, and it makes a full comeback. So
Exactly.
I'm I just basically, long story short, I hope to be a part of that sometime in the near future.
Absolutely. And I feel like that mentality right there is going to lead more or less into the last question I have. Because as we start winding down the episode, I do have one last question I want to ask.
Mhm.
Obviously, like I said before, you are deeply entrenched in art. Like I reiterated before, going back to the early, toddler days of stealing pieces of paper just so you can draw or whatnot. Like there's no taking you away from art. It's gonna take a miracle to get you away from art at this point.
Absolutely.
How important is art, not just for you, but for the world as a whole?
I said what I said.
Okay.
It's a like universal tool. It like makes sense across different languages. It makes sense across different cultures. Like anyone can look at an art piece and like react to it somehow. You can't predict how people are gonna, respond to it all the time, but it has a way of, like creating a feeling or just like making sense out of things that don't make sense, and it's just something that's inescapable. Art is everywhere. We can't do anything without it. There's no point in making money unless you care about what you're doing, and that's it, period.
There you go. That is wonderfully worded, if I do say so myself. Sadie, that is all the questions I have for you today. I've already showered you with Lord knows how much praise at this point, but I'm going to shower you a little bit more because it's my podcast. I do what the fuck I want.
Oh my gosh.
Look,
is it my birthday?
I don't know, is it? I don't know when your birthday is.
It's not my birthday.
Okay. You had me excited for a second there. I would have taken it as an honor. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I take it back.
Honestly, I will say, though, when this podcast is released, because I'm releasing it in May or whatnot, it'll be like a week before my birthday. So there you go.
Oh, happy early birthday.
There you go. But, no, like I said, whenever I first, got a chance to obviously see your comics or whatnot, I couldn't help but just instantly fall in love with just, like I said before, how serious or how silly they are, how down to earth that they seem, even though, once again, they're anthropomorphic animals that we're looking at the end of the day. The real, the realness of the situations and the down to earth that they are when I cannot get enough of what I've been able to see from you ever since I've got a chance to get in contact with you, and ever since we've been really planning this thing for a good couple months or whatnot. My excitement, my appreciation has definitely grown, and especially getting the chance to sit with you today, get a chance to talk about this stuff, and really get a chance to see more of the real Sadie or the real Peach, however you want to address yourself at this point or whatnot. But get the chance to see that realness more than anything else. Whatever level of love and respect that I have for you or whatnot, there is no roof that's going to limit it at this point, because
goodness.
I cannot get enough of what you're doing, and I know that there's a true, genuine place that everything that you're pushing out there is coming from, and it just makes me excited whatever's going to be happening next, whether it's more relatable webcomics, whether it's more incredible opportunities to actually, get to work in a studio or whatnot and work with storyboards or animations and get some stuff out there, and or to work on that stuff on your own and bring that stuff to life. I'm excited. I am amped, and I know I'm one of thousands of people at this point that have your back, but I'm always going to have your back. I'm going to be by your side, rooting for you every single step of the way, because I cannot get enough of what you're pushing out there, and I genuinely love and appreciate just everything you've been able to do. Thank you for what you do. Keep up the incredible work, and like I said before, I'm rooting for you every single step of the way, no matter what happens next.
Dude, thank you for creating this platform even to showcase artists and have this discussion, because it's just art is just such an amazing thing, and with the right attention and attention to detail and appreciation and everything, it's you're taking the time to showcase people and talk about art and just give it the freaking, put it on the pedestal that it deserves to be on. So I appreciate you taking the time to reach out to people, organize these things, and everything that you're doing as well is just as important. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you for the kind words. But once again, you don't have to butter me up. We just recorded the episode. You're here. You got a chance to say this stuff.
I need to. I need to do this. I need this.
No, genuinely, thank you for the kind words. It does mean a lot. I mean, I'll be blunt. Sometimes I get in my own head sometimes about who exactly this is reaching. Is this even really reaching anyone? But at the end of the day, I know there's at least, I've said from day one that like I'm not, kind of like how you were talking about with your comics or whatnot. Like, you're not out here. I'm not out here for the views. I'm not out here for the money, because I know at this point I'd be making I'd be stupid to say I'm out here for the money with how much I've given up for commissions for thumbnails for this podcast or whatnot.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
But like, I didn't start this for that. I came out here because I knew that there are some incredible artists that deserve incredible opportunities to talk about their stuff, because they dedicate so much to themselves to it. And if any of these conversations even reach one person, and it inspires them to like really devote themselves more to art, and it really inspires them to keep going, then I've done my job. This podcast is a success at the end of the day. Even if it's just that one person, this podcast is a success. So again, thank you genuinely for the kind words. They really do mean a lot.
Thank you so much for your kind words. I like same thing. Like, I get in my head all the time, and like we talked about, I'm like constantly second guessing and being like, oh, I don't know, is this cool? That's like the weird little brain worm that social media like implants in everyone.
Yes, it does.
But it's so wonderful to like, you know, talk to people, meet people like you, and like just like who really understand it and appreciate it, and like, you know, you're part of the reason that like artists do what they do, you know. It's like like you're an artist yourself, like we're all inspiring each other, like it's just like it's a wonderful thing. I'm happy to be here. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Now, before we just get into a thank you match that'll last another hour or whatnot, for people that maybe wonder why.
Keep going. No, I like this.
Look, I was gonna say, look, we can keep it going. Let's just at least end the podcast, then we can keep going for this next couple hours.
Let's get the people their days back.
Let's get the people's their days back. Now, if people want to see why exactly I have been gushing about you for the past, I don't know, 2 hours, however long we've been recording or whatnot, go ahead and plug your stuff for the people at home. Where can people find you?
Oh my goodness. I'm on most active on Blue Sky now.
Yes.
Love Blue Sky. Thank you, Blue Sky, for existing. Save me from the Twitterverse. I'm still on the Twitterverse though, if you want to find me there too. I've got Instagram, I've got YouTube, and all those things. And I don't know the timeline on this, but I will plug just for a second. I'm hoping to open a Patreon for the first time sometime soon, so maybe keep an eye out for that. I don't know how soon I will figure that out, because it's another daunting project for me, but I am hoping to do that at least.
Well, at the very least, if it has opened by the time this episode has dropped or whatnot, it will definitely be in the description below, as well as all the other links that you said, and maybe some of the ones you didn't mention or whatnot. I will be sure to get all those in the description, so that if people are struggling where to find piles of peaches anywhere, it's right there for y'all. Like I got you guys covered. Do you have any final words before we sign off?
I don't know. I'm scared. This is like this is my final words before I die. Like you're gonna kill me after this. You're putting me down after.
It's okay, Sadie. Take your time.
I want to thank the Academy. I want to thank my parents, my friends, but honestly, like just keep making art. If you're thinking about making art, just do it, because like it whether or not you're getting a reaction out of anybody, just make sure that it's important to you, and you know, fulfills some kind of like deep desire that you have. And as long as you keep creating, you're gonna keep improving, regardless of whether you go to school, whether you you know, get a million followers. Like, it's just something that's like so necessary and important for your survival if you're feeling that urge. And if you love art, keep supporting artists, real artists. You know, share stuff, talk about stuff, any animated media, any illustrated media that is catching your eye these days. It's so important that you get the word out, and, you know, get other people to appreciate it as well, because artists need that right now. And just be fucking cool.
Be fucking cool. That like, those are all wonderful words. And with that, all I have left to say is, for the people at home, if you can, please pay your artists.
Pay your artists.
Tell me what's wrong, tell me it's parts in motion. Sing me a song, tell me your eyes can go open. Show me it all, pick me up in the car, you go when.
Thank you so much for sticking around to the end. If this is your first time listening, I greatly do appreciate it. I was not lying when I said that this conversation was absolutely insane. Sadie, if you've gotten up to this point, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Sincerely, like, your enthusiasm, not just with this interview, but especially after the interview, it genuinely does warm my heart. It's incredible. Like, sincerely, like, what was it? Not too long after we recorded this episode, Sadie DM'd me talking about how much more she's dove into, like, episodes of the podcast, and just how much that they recognize and they love, like, what basically I'm trying to do with this podcast. It's so heartwarming. It genuinely is. Because, don't get me wrong, I know that there is a good audience that comes with this podcast. Hell, look at the previous episode with Will Wood. Bring it back on again. Last time I checked, we have over 3,000 views for that video. Sincerely, thank you so much for the love. Like, thank you so much for the love that I've gotten as of late. You know? Like, Amateur April, it was really cool to see people really love and appreciate the artists that I'm trying to showcase you guys, just the incredible art that I know that they have. And then on top of that, to show a lot of love to an artist I've had on the podcast before. And hopefully the same love that you guys are going to be experiencing with this episode. Like, I'm certainly feeling a lot of the love these days. I can't thank you guys enough, sincerely. I'm continue to be honored and blessed to be in the vicinity of such amazing people, outstanding people, more than anything else, and to just feel the love that you guys have for these artists, feel the love that you guys have for what I'm trying to do with this podcast. Like, I could go on and have like another hour of just thanking you guys over and 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 over again. But I could just say that for next week's little outro, can't I? Speaking of, next week's outro, well, not outro, no. Next week's episode is not going to be coming out on Thursday, although that is my birthday for those keeping track at home, May 15th. Thank you. No, next week's episode is going to be coming out on May 16th, because that's Indie Animation Day, and I've got a fun guest coming on to showcase their indie animated project. So keep your eyes peeled for that. At the end of the day, I'm going to say this. So May is, if I remember correctly, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So the last thing I'm going to leave you guys with today is to please be good to yourselves. I know how hard it is out there. I mean, we kind of illustrated it a little bit when it came to this podcast, but it's really hard out there to really deal with all sorts of mental issues and problems in society and all this kind of stuff. I sincerely ask from the bottom of my heart, please be good to yourselves. Like, you guys are so much better than whatever chaos is thrown your way. You guys are so much more amazing than any amount of bullshit that you guys have to tackle on a daily basis. Please be good to yourselves.